The Philippine Statistics Authority reported that agriculture remained the most vulnerable sector to natural extreme events and disasters in the last decade. The sector suffered 290 billion pesos in losses between 2010 and 2019. Almost half of this is attributable to the most destructive disasters in our history, including typhoons Pablo, Yolanda, Glenda, and Ompong. The loss covers damages to crops, livestock, fisheries, and agricultural infrastructure. Such losses accounted for 63% of the country's total losses for the period. A separate report by the National Economic and Development Authority in 2019 names environmental factors, climate change, and erratic weather patterns as the main cause of the destruction of farming systems and heightened income risks. Crops could be wiped out by drought from El Niño, while floods from La Niña could drown seeds and fertilizers in the fields. Health emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic also impacted global food systems, disrupted agricultural value chains, threatened food security, and affected the livelihoods of the most vulnerable. This is why transforming farming and food systems is critical in the face of both pandemics and natural hazards. As democratic farmer and fisher organizations that foster rural development, agricultural cooperatives help fulfill the need for strong community enterprises. However, agricultural co-ops and farmer organizations in general need to understand the risks, vulnerabilities, and systemic shifts following a disaster. They should be able to adapt, survive, and thrive under altered circumstances. Resilient agricultural cooperatives create resilient communities. What is resilience in the context of agricultural cooperatives? Resilience is about having the adaptive capacity to adjust to disruptive events, to temper potential damages, to take advantage of opportunities, and to cope with consequences over time. It should be recognized, though, that resilience is largely a property of systems, of networks and relationships, as we live in a hyper-connected world and an ever-shifting landscape. As they say, a chain is no stronger than its weakest link. A glitch in the system may cause the whole structure to collapse. This is why a collective response by businesses, civil society organizations, government agencies and units, and communities is needed in order to build resilience. Agricultural cooperatives can help communities thrive by simply staying in business. Getting immediately back up after a disaster is the best thing an agricultural cooperative can do for its members and community. Regaining productive capacity is a good start in the rebuilding process. As the cooperative's adaptive capacity improves over time, its vulnerabilities are also reduced. Agile, collaborative, and information-led approaches are critical to building resilience. With the help of the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, International Cooperative Development Specialist Agriterra is implementing the Generating Rural Opportunities by working with Cooperatives Project in the Philippines. GROW Co-op aims to expand rural livelihood opportunities and boost rural households' income by facilitating the development of large, successful local cooperatives, federations, and private companies to become local resource organizations, or LROs. LROs provide mentoring and capacity development support to smaller agricultural cooperatives under a Big Brother, Small Brother scheme. By linking them to their Big Brother co-ops, smaller co-ops are also given the opportunity to participate in sustainable agricultural value chains. As the COVID-19 pandemic put a strain on agricultural supply chains and disrupted economic activity globally, GROW Co-op is incubating a collaboration platform for building agricultural cooperative resilience as a pivot strategy to address some of the critical challenges linked to climate hazards and health emergencies like pandemics. The Cooperative Resilience Mechanism, or CRM, envisions to institute a coordination mechanism for the agricultural cooperative sector to engage with government, private sector, civil society, and other local and international partners on resilience building covering crisis response and recovery. Crowd in investments for disaster risk reduction, emergency preparedness, response and recovery, and climate change adaptation. Support policy advocacies for agricultural enterprise resiliency. Key interventions under CRM include capacity building through business advice, training, and exchange to strengthen the resiliency foundations of participating agricultural cooperatives. Capital provision by setting up a resilience fund or facilitating access to available funds within its network of partners for innovative projects or models of resiliency. Coordination for crisis or emergency response to support business continuity. Lobby and advocacy for an enabling environment for resilience building. CRM is about partnership building for resilient rural communities through resilient agricultural cooperatives. You see, CRM is everyone's business, as a resilient and growing agricultural economy is twice as effective in reducing poverty as growth in other sectors. Despite the disruption that the COVID-19 pandemic and natural disasters brought in 2020, the agriculture sector still emerged as one of the most resilient sectors. Based on PSA data, agriculture contracted by only 0.02%, while the services and industry sectors dipped by 5.5% and 4% respectively. In the words of DA Secretary William Dar, agriculture will be a driving force as the country pushes ahead with recovery amid the COVID-19 pandemic. With the right systems, knowledge, tools, and resources, there are opportunities for CRM to help agriculture and agricultural cooperatives in particular recover strongly. Let's build back better with the decision makers, the movers and the shakers, development actors, individuals and the private sector, think tanks and educators, and of course, we cannot do this without the support of the leaders on the ground. The real crisis in agriculture is not only the normalcy of natural hazards, but the indifference of agricultural actors towards business unusual, that of shaping a new normal for agricultural enterprises. Together, we can create safe and sustainable models to turn the tide in these difficult times. We can build a resilient agricultural economy. We can create a winning cooperative resilience mechanism. Invest in CRM. Be a winner. Be CRM.